Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit to you about the problem with trendy homeschooling. It's safe to say that homeschooling is certainly on the rise in the past few years. And this is something that just given a few years ago, I would have loved to have seen. I like seeing homeschooling in the news. I like seeing homeschooling in newspaper articles. I like seeing interviews about homeschooling. What I don't like seeing, though, is the turn that it sometimes seems to be taking in people who are trying to make it palatable for those who otherwise would scoff. And this is what I'm going to refer to as trendy homeschooling. Now, it's no secret that homeschooling does not have to happen at home. I have been saying this for years, and I think this is one stereotype that people have about homeschooling, up until everything that's been going on recently, is that they always kind of looked at homeschoolers as being stuck in their house all day long and never going outside and not having friends and not doing anything. And so we homeschoolers have been like, hello, no, that's not how it happens. So I'm not here to tell you that homeschooling always happens at home, because that is certainly not the truth. You know, life has so much education in store for us. There is so much to learn from life for us, for our children, for our families together, that you can't deny that it is a huge asset to take your children out and about and to do things with them. Unfortunately, though, what I am seeing with those trendier articles about homeschooling, or maybe some of the newer spokespeople for homeschooling, is that they're taking a page out of those who were or are opponents of homeschooling. They're kind of ripping out a page from their book, and they're using that kind of against what I would consider to be traditional homeschooling. And we see a lot of people telling others that homeschooling doesn't happen at home. So it's not that it doesn't have to happen at home, but what they are telling you is that homeschooling doesn't happen at home. And then they will go on to tell people how it happens at museums and it happens on while they're traveling. And then they will talk about homeschooling pods, and they will talk about co-ops, and they will talk about outside classes. None of these are bad things. They are all tools that a homeschooling parent should keep in their tool belt. The problem, though, is that a lot of people now, in the hopes of, making homeschooling the trendy thing that they want it to be, is that they are negating the importance of being home. They are completely behaving as if it is not important for homeschoolers to spend some time at home, and that in fact children don't have to learn at home at all. They can always be out with these extremely busy lives in order to learn. And what they're doing is they're trying to sell homeschooling to those who might not want to be at home with their kids. And I get it. I get that you are trying to advertise an alternative form of education that is likely better for children. But what they are doing is they are completely belittling the importance of the home, because like it or not, the home really is an important aspect of homeschooling. Children don't need to be out running around all day long, going from place to place to place, from extracurricular activity to class to pod, and only to come home at the end of the night to sleep in their bed, and that's as much time as they spend at home. Home is an important part of homeschooling, and I think this is something that we really need to emphasize in the homeschooling community, especially in the light of the fact that there are so many people who are kind of making it look like, you don't need to do any homeschooling at home. Yes, home is important. Home is where your family will create bonds. Home is where the heart is. Home is a sanctuary for most people. And if it is not a sanctuary for you, then I don't know, maybe you should reconsider homeschooling in general, because home should be a sanctuary. Home is a place where your children are going to create memories with you. Home is where your children are going to establish their roots, and this is where they are going to dig their feet in. And when they are older, they're going to remember the fun trips that they took and the classes. But for me, especially, my fondest memories of my childhood are not when I was at the beach or at amusement parks or at dance competitions. My fondest memories all take place centered in the home. And I think that this is something that we, especially veteran homeschoolers, we need to get this out. We cannot vilify the home when it comes to homeschooling. It is important. So I think that while, yes, there are so many things that you can include in your homeschool that do not, it doesn't mean that you have to sit around the kitchen table all day, and we try to make our homeschool look as little like school as possible. But the fact remains that home is important. Your children do need to be home with you sometimes. It is good for them. And instead of us trying so hard to get the outside world to look in at homeschooling and to see it as being more palatable, maybe it's about time that we change the viewpoint of those who look at home as a negative thing. Why is home looked at in such a negative way? Maybe it's because they themselves haven't been spending any time in the home. So many generations have been brought up in the school system now where they are not used to being at home. So when you talk about homeschooling, home does not seem like that sanctuary that it should be. It's time that we need to change that. Instead of making homeschooling look like the world, maybe the world needs to look a little more like homeschooling. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one either here or over on Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.